I had just settled in for a quiet night at home, desperate for a break after a week of chaos. Snuggled into the couch with a blanket, I relished the soft glow of my TV filling the room as I mindlessly flipped through channels. Just as I began to sink into comfort, a strange noise floated up from the basement, like something scraping against the floor. At first, I brushed it off, assuring myself it was just the house settling, but the sound persisted, faint, rhythmic, and utterly unnerving. It made my skin crawl. I reached for the remote, turning up the volume to drown out the disturbance, but to no avail. The scratching only grew louder, more insistent, demanding my attention. Curiosity, fueled by a creeping sense of dread, finally got the better of me. I hesitated, eyeing the basement door. Though I knew it was locked, my mind raced with the possibility. What if someone had gotten in? Heart pounding, I made my way over, my hand trembling as it rested on the cold metal handle. A jolt of adrenaline shot through me as I took a deep breath and opened the door, the creak echoing ominously. The basement lay shrouded in darkness, only the faint light from the hallway illuminating its depths. Grabbing a flashlight from the kitchen, I shone it down the stairs, its beam slicing through the murk. "Hello?" I called, my voice a shaky whisper that dissolved into the silence. No answer came. Cautiously, I stepped onto the staircase, each wooden board groaning underfoot. The scratching ceased, replaced by a heavy, oppressive silence that amplified the thudding of my heart. I felt foolish for even considering going down there, yet the need to know what was lurking spurred me on. Reaching the bottom, I swung the flashlight around. The basement was cluttered with old boxes and furniture, nothing seemingly out of place. Just as I turned to retreat upstairs, something caught my eye. An old chair, unnervingly shifted from its usual spot. My stomach twisted with unease. It hadn't been there before. Then I heard it, a shuffling behind me. I spun around, heart hammering, but the dark remained impenetrable and silent. Every instinct screamed to flee. I darted up the stairs, slamming the door shut with a resounding thud, locking it tight. Leaning against the door, breathless and shaken, I couldn't escape the feeling that someone, or something, had been down there with me. My home, once a sanctuary, now felt like a sinister trap. It was then I realized that sometimes, the scariest monsters are those hiding in the shadows of our own homes. I was home alone on a Friday night, ready to unwind after a long week. My friends had planned a movie night, but I craved solitude instead. I settled onto the couch, my favorite horror film playing softly in the background. Just as I started to relax, my phone buzzed on the coffee table. The number was unknown. I hesitated, then picked it up. "Hello?" I said, half expecting a prank.
"Where are you?"
A voice crackled on the other end, a deep, raspy tone that sent a chill down my spine. "Who is this?" I replied, heart thumping. Silence hung in the air before the voice spoke again.
"Just tell me where you are."
I laughed nervously, thinking it was a joke. "I'm at home. Who are you?" But the line went dead. I tried to shake off the unease, convincing myself it was probably just some telemarketer. I returned to my movie, but something felt off. The shadows seemed to deepen in the room, and I found myself glancing at the window, half expecting to see someone lurking outside. Then my phone buzzed again. Same number. My gut twisted as I answered. "What do you want?" I demanded.
"Don't worry, I'm close."
The voice replied, almost mocking. Panic surged through me. I hung up and checked the locks on the doors. Everything was secure, but I couldn't get rid of the feeling that I was being watched. I tried to distract myself by scrolling through my phone, but my mind kept drifting back to the call. Just then, a noise from outside caught my attention, a faint rustling. I peered through the window but saw nothing. Maybe it was just the wind, I thought, but my heart wasn't convinced. Minutes passed, and I couldn't shake the anxiety. The darkness felt oppressive, and I wanted nothing more than to call a friend, but I feared it might invite more trouble. Instead, I grabbed a kitchen knife and sat back down, eyes glued to the door. Then a soft knock echoed through the house. My blood ran cold. It was too gentle to be anyone I knew, yet too deliberate to ignore. "Who's there?" I shouted, voice trembling. No response. I took a deep breath and decided to call the police, but before I could dial, I heard the unmistakable sound of footsteps on my porch. I was having one of those perfect nights where everything seemed just right. I settled into the couch, a movie playing and a bowl of popcorn in hand, the warm glow from the screen casting a cozy atmosphere around me. The quiet of my apartment was comforting, the kind of solitude I cherished after a hectic week. Halfway through the film, I noticed the lights flickering slightly. Dismissing it as a minor electrical issue, I brushed it off. Living alone, I'd grown used to odd occurrences and chalked it up to my imagination, refocusing on the movie. But the flickering persisted, becoming more erratic. I glanced nervously at the light fixtures, a sense of unease creeping in. Then, without warning, the lights went out completely, plunging the room into darkness. My heart pounded as I froze, fumbling for my phone to use its flashlight. Its beam cut through the shadows, which danced ominously, transforming the familiar space into something foreign and threatening. Just as the panic started to subside, the flickering resumed, but this time the lights came back on, flashing like a strobe. I sighed in relief, though a lingering unease remained. Grabbing my phone, I scrolled through social media, hoping for a distraction to calm my nerves, but that relief was short-lived. Suddenly, a soft thud echoed from the hallway. My heart skipped a beat. I hadn't made any noise. Holding my breath, I strained to listen. There it was again, a quiet thump, almost like footsteps. I glanced at the front door, double-checking that it was locked. Secure, but that offered little comfort. "Hello?" I called out, my voice barely steady. Silence answered. I considered calling a friend, but hesitation held me back. Was it just my imagination? The movie's soundtrack echoed in my mind, but all I felt was dread. Resolving to investigate, I grabbed a knife from the drawer. The lights flickered again as I stepped into the hallway, making me jump. Creeping toward the sound, every instinct screamed to turn back. I reached the corner and peeked around. Nothing. Just the stillness of my home, the silence pressing in on me. Exhaling a breath I didn't realize I was holding, I turned to go back when I heard it once more. A soft rustle behind me. My heart raced as I spun around, the chilling realization dawning that I was not alone in my own home. I was lounging in the living room, scrolling through my phone with a cozy blanket wrapped snugly around me. The plan was simple: binge-watch a new series while indulging in some snacks. It was late, and the world outside was hushed. Suddenly, my phone buzzed with a text from my best friend, Sarah. Oddly enough, it read, "On my way, see you soon." I glanced at the clock. It was well past midnight. Earlier, Sarah had mentioned she was too tired to come over. I shrugged it off, assuming she'd had a change of heart. I shot back a quick reply and waited for her response. Silence. I hit play on the next episode, trying to ignore the nagging curiosity at the back of my mind. About 20 minutes later, I heard the unmistakable crunch of tires on the gravel outside. Peering out the window, I expected to see Sarah's car, but the driveway was eerily empty. A strange unease settled over me. I checked my phone again, still no new messages. I decided to call Sarah. When she picked up, the line was filled with silence. "Hey, where are you?" I asked. No answer. My stomach was knotted with anxiety. "Sarah, is everything okay?" A soft, static-like sound crackled through the line. "Can you just let me in?" the voice said, though it didn't sound like Sarah at all. Cold sweat trickled down my forehead. "What do you mean? Where are you?" I stammered. Just open the door, the voice repeated, this time edged with impatience. Panic erupted within me. I hung up and checked the locks, each click echoing loudly in the otherwise silent house. Minutes ticked by, each one amplifying my sense of dread. With trembling fingers, I picked up my phone to text Sarah again, but my hands shook too violently to type. Suddenly, a loud knock reverberated through the front door. My heart threatened to leap out of my chest. Creeping toward the peephole, I peered out into the darkness. The porch light was off, casting everything into shadow. I squinted, trying to make out the shape standing there. "Sarah?" I called, my voice barely above a whisper. The silhouette shifted but offered no reply. Just then, my phone buzzed again. It was a text from Sarah. "I'm still at home. Are you okay?" Panic surged through my veins as I realized the chilling truth. I wasn't alone.